Hello and welcome. It is the 27th day of November 2019. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. Like we're always, all bets, trades, and of the like. Well, that's within each his own risk and their own reward. Alrighty, let's get this beginning and started. The gold price in at 14.56, but I bought some today. It really was a no-brainer decision when I went through all the reasons to do so in a matter of about a minute or so and just thinking, and then 3 or so minutes later it was actually purchased. Easy to do. 5 minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later, but 3 minutes later I was actually purchasing to start the purchase. That's a better way of putting it. It took about 7 minutes to complete my buy. I got exactly what I was looking for, and it's going to get into Bitcoin prices where I'll tell you why when I get there, why it's the obvious play, but they're higher, so a little bit of a better price. And I checked my email thinking, well, maybe they have, thinking they as in silvergoldbull.ca, the site that I like to buy my precious metals from that accept cryptocurrencies. Maybe they have what they do so oftentimes as far as a flash special. Just every so often and around late morning Eastern time, 10, 11 o'clock a.m., they'll put out a special, this much off this particular whatever. And if it's something that I like, I've taken advantage of that special a handful of times. Maybe 4 to 5 times maybe. I've taken advantage of that special. But I never even considered the Black Friday, as it is U.S. Thanksgiving. That is now coming into play, the holiday weekend for the United States. And well, they have the Black Friday specials. And what I was hoping to get was exactly what they had on sale. It was 3 grams of gold, the Chinese pandas. And they, I think it was like 2% over wholesale, some little real cheap low number. It worked out to be that of 214, I think, Canadian dollars per 3 grams, which is basically about 1/10 of an ounce almost. Almost such, 3% off of 10% of an ounce. But not, you don't take 10% minus 3. All right, so I got that, and I also bought some silver as well, because whenever I buy gold, I just always buy a little bit of silver as well. It's in at 17, and really not too much happening with the gold. You can see it was just hanging in there still. This one is just hanging in there within the 18 average after this failed breakout. Now we've had this move lower. We don't know if it's going to be a failed one or not yet because it's still correcting within its 18 average. And doing all this stuff is right now, the 18 average of lows is already flattened out. And price action can at least now only go up a percent, even just close to 1%. That'll be enough to make the 18 average of highs start to flatten out, as it's just hanging in there, not really doing much at all. And it was interesting because I was in a channel, a totally off-related one, but it was something about $1,250 for a bunch of high-end baseball cards. We get autographs and everything. You get a nice fancy box, all that kind of stuff. And I wrote a comment stating that I would rather buy, which is like 0.0177 Bitcoin, whatever yesterday's price of Bitcoin was, and then the amount of ounces of silver. So I would take like 1250 divided by 17. I'd just take a few ounces off of that. Say I'd rather get that much ounces of silver. And then one person replied back. Actually, I had about 3 replies back, which was awesome, because that was about the 3rd or 4th time I've done a comment like that, but the first time with replies back, and it was plural. Let me just see if I can bring them up actually. And actually a 4th comment I think just came in. Bitcoin is trash, under 3,000 when it used to be 30,000. Dummies. I don't know what currency you're talking about. It used to be 20. And it used to be under 3,000. Modern sports cards for the most part is a terrible investment. You can't make good money. Let me just go to the comments section because there's a few of them. Okay, so 22 hours ago, $12.50 for baseball cards, question mark. maybe it's a good buy investment, but I'd rather get 0.177 Bitcoin or as many ounces of silver, close to 70, that I can, as I think both will way overperform the value of buying this. At this price, it isn't a hobby unless you are very rich. 5 replies. One is me, because I replied back to another reply. So this one just came out. Modern sports cards, for the most part, is a terrible investment. You can make good money flipping if you're into that. And you can make money into flipping silver and gold, but it's definitely got one of the more lower margins. As I mentioned, like 2% over wholesale that they were selling the gold for. Maybe it was 3, but even still, that's like $2 per percent on a 3-gram coin. So let's view 5 replies. This guy in Bitcoin laugh out loud. Silver is the same price as it was over 10 years ago and doesn't produce any income and has high transaction costs. Don't get the appeal of it at all. As are things like M3 money supply 10 years ago. Oh, wait a second. It's not. And yet the price is the same as it was 10 years ago and down over 60% from early January 29, which is exactly where my appeal lies. Modern sports cards, for the most part, is a terrible investment. You can make good money flipping if you're into that. And then, yeah, Bitcoin is trash under 30,000 when it used to be 30K. Okay, well, again, this is just the daily chart for the recent part, so we're not going to see that 20,000 or anything, but there's the 3,000 down there, yeah. Okay. As I've been mentioning the last couple of days, I'm going to have a hard time trusting these rallies short term. And because I'm thinking about Christmas gift and ideas, yeah, 3 grams of gold. And I bought 6 grams, 3 for myself, 3 for a family member as well. So I'm thinking, I don't really want to lose any more of my gold. In fact, I've already got a few of them already allocated, and well, why don't I just pick up an extra one for myself? And because of course the price is now up to the 18 lows, and it could go up to the 18 highs, and even maybe a small break above it. And you know what? I wouldn't overly shock me if this is a low, but like I also stated yesterday, more times than not, these price actions pierce below. So therefore, if that's the area, but it's all short-term nonsense, as I would be talking about. Okay, so yeah, maybe from what I'm talking about is a move towards here where we go down in this level. And now what situation? And I wouldn't be surprised if that now what means it goes higher from there. So if I think that, I would never usually want to be making a sale that way for it. But I realize that if Bitcoin prices go higher, which I think and hope they will, that the investment that I make now is quote unquote a bad one compared to where it should be in the future. But it is one of those hedges just in case scenarios for why I calculated, yeah, I think it's just a decent time to put a small amount. Again, it worked out to 6 grams of gold, 6 ounces of silver. So just a small buy, but enough where I got a little bit of a deal. I got a coin that was 33 Canadian dollars on silver. They sold for 28. Very beautiful design. And I'm a sucker for buying coins. Or, yeah, I think it was a coin over around. But anyways, I think it's an African one. Either way, I'm a sucker for buying beautiful design coins when they're not that much more around, and even sometimes cheaper than an eagle. If it's like $1 more or whatever. In fact, I was even debating spending $50 an ounce on some of the coins for a nice, amazingly designed, partially or full, like a pretty partial colored coin they have on special there. I couldn't pull the trigger on that one, but it was one that I was considering. So yeah, maybe it was 5, 6, 7 minutes of me deciding for what it was before I made that particular order. But as I stated, the money supply is not the same as it was before and yet the gold and silver prices are at that. Bitcoin prices, well, that was weird. Anyway, Bitcoin prices, I look at it as mathematically this way. Percentage of likelihood that it works, defining working as not only getting above 12,008, but getting above the more longer term levels. And of course, that's first above 14, then above 20. And I'm parlaying that with other altcoins doing its thing, having what I call the XYZ, X referencing how much I can make in coins just by ratio trading altcoins back and forth. Y being how good those coins do against Bitcoin from a whatever particular starting point. So if something's at 1,000 Satoshi, it goes to 5,000, that's 5. If it goes to 1,000 down to 500, it would be 0.5. Or 800 to 400 would be 0.5. And Z is the gain in Bitcoin in dollar terms. So I'm confident those numbers are big. And the results that I get would state that as long as what I state happens, works, 10% of the time, it's quote-unquote a good bet. Because the gains of well over 10 times is just that, well over 10 times. At least how I would presume such. Now let's move into altcoins. I'm going to be ditching a lot of these coins soon. Atom, I'm going to wait for it to hit its particular spot. I don't know what I'm going to be showing, if any of these yet. And I haven't looked at any of these for a little while, so I'm seeing new percentage moves. Bitcoin Cash, well, that's one I'm keeping. That's one of my holders. Dash is probably one that I'm going to actually go have a larger holding with, most likely. DGB, I'm probably going to keep a GRS. I don't see me ever soon getting rid of that. ETC, I'm probably going to ditch at some point. I just don't need to have as many coins. GRS and DGB, I refuse to get rid of right now. I just don't see me ditching that cross. I recently traded that yesterday. H-bar, I like, again, that's one I want to hold on to. Komodo, I'm ditching. I am so ditching Komodo. LITECOIN, obviously one of my top ones. That's staying. Neo, I'm going to be ditching. I just don't need to trade as many. T-Fuel, it was free, so I'm holding. Theta, I'm holding. Tron, I'll be ditching in time. But I'm going to be waiting for them to have good gains and then wait when they have it and then just sell them out at the right point. That's how I'm going to be doing it. So I'm not getting rid of them anytime soon. Komodo's going, though. Once I can sell it, once I can get rid of it. I mean, at least on Binance, because the wallet's been off on it. I'm not a fan of it anymore. Wave, same thing. Lumen, probably the same thing. Ripple, no. Tezos, no. And there really isn't anything else worth showing. So I'm going to move into fantasy hockey now. And as of just before the recording of my video, this is what I look at during my fantasy games. This is as of after 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. New York time. I'm going to get a bright color. I was going to get yellow. I don't want yellow. White. Let's do a bluish color. Okay. So currently winning 318. It's not what I wanted to click. Let's go this. So my best result right now at that point was in first place. I've gotten myself in positions I am so confident that will put me into these types of spots more often, well more than often than chance. It's 1-0 for the Vegas Knights, and it's definitely a Vegas Knights spot. And in fact, I've already given out my play of the day, which included a glass. And where's my notes? Is it glass? Yeah. Glass or stone? Excuse me, stone. Stone and Pacioretty. Although glass would be in this lineup as well too. They are the guys that go hand in hand. You have to play them together. And that lineup has it. They're going them playing together. Now how this will work out. These numbers of volatility just change. I also have put up wagers of 71. Now what I've also been doing. These are all showdown results in here. But I do have normal games as well. Which are maybe about I do a little over $50 on normal games, so a little under $20 I have on traditional games. So therefore, that would be taking every single team, with the exception of 2, top power play line, and playing the entire power play line with the goalie and then 3 other players. Oftentimes, 2 of those 3 players being guys that work together. Of course, in a big example of that would be Stone and Pacioretty. And in that first game, 1-0. As of, I'm going to get an update very soon. My whole point is these numbers will change. I hope I win this, especially because one of my friends who is tailing me has the exact same lineup in a different game and is currently winning that at that point as well. Anyway, I'm going to take a screenshot of what it looks like right now, and I have no idea. It doesn't really matter too much. It could be higher, it could be about the same, it could be lower, and a lot of times I probably will be, but we'll see. And yeah, I don't even know what happened. I'm guessing it's 1-1 at least, because if I push a paint screen in here, it's now down to $44.62, which means I'm down right now, which is, it's all going to change, and a lot of it is going to be escalated near the end or declined big near the end. But I put myself into a position where I even did more math, and this part sickens me even more so. And that is the cost to have access to every single hockey game. It's not cheap. It's actually a lot more expensive than I would hope it would want to be. It's still only a percentage of my profits, but it's multiple dollars per day. The question is it worth it? Well, throwing any type of entertainment value for why people would buy those sort of things, that is it mathematically risk reward on an accounting level that a profit? For if I have the advantage of watching more of the games in advance, then I will be better in my performance. Will it be enough to cover the season cost? And oftentimes, it will be. Now, my theory from the start was, do I need it? No, because, it's just going to figure out if it works. And if it does, the big money is going to be that of April, May, and June, which is the playoffs. And every single playoff game pretty much is televised, at least with the package I have, meaning every single Sportsnet, CBC, and I don't think TSN shows any games, but Sportsnet and CBC and City TV show all the hockey games in the playoffs. I think they show almost all of them. But either way, is it an advantage throughout the regular season when I'll just know this and that because I'll be able to have access to such? So it's now going to be something that's going to be purchased into the weekend. But then I'm thinking, do I wait for, I know it's Canada, we don't have Black Friday specials, although a lot of places here still do actually, but will they have a holiday special? If I wait a few days, weeks, will I get like $50, $60, $70 cheaper? Well, anyway, I don't know. And as I pause the tape, it's 2-2 now in the Vegas game, late in the second period. I don't like higher scoring games too much when I play them. I'll give you hints to how I play, but I don't like too many higher scoring games, although it can work out. I just like it when the winning team doesn't score much more than 5, although 5 is 5, and I don't like when the losing team scores 3. So I'm hoping whoever wins, whichever goalie, just shuts her down in the third period. And I also been thinking as far as the cost of the package, it's probably mathematically the right play, which is why it's a little stingy. But I can afford it. It's only a percentage of what I've getting back on my first withdrawal, and a small percentage of what I plan on taking home, which is at least a decent 5-figure payout for the season. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.